Hi, I'm Jennifer Storm, the Coordinator for Outreach and Advocacy for Andreozzi Foote. Today we're going to talk about a timely topic, which is summer camp. Most of the schools are starting to dismiss and parents are eagerly awaiting summer just as their children are. But most parents have to work. So looking at summer camps and alternative care facilities for your child in the summer is a priority for you right now. So we wanted to offer some tips and some resources when thinking about a summer camp. As we know with the statistics, the staggering statistics, sexual violence happens everywhere. Sexual abuse of children unfortunately occurs in all places where children are, mainly because crime requires opportunity and predators seek those opportunities where they can have readily access to children. That's not to scare you. We want your children to have a wonderful summer experience, to be able to go to camps and explore new activities, learn new things, meet new friends, and have the best summer they possibly can. So what are those things that you can look for when looking at a summer camp? First and foremost, research that camp. Talk to people that you know maybe have sent their children there in the past. Go online, look at their website, look at the information they have on the website. Is it up to date? Is it detailed? Go and visit the facility. Go on site. You know that we say don't judge a book by its cover, but in these type of instances, judge a book by its cover. Does the summer camp have all the things that your child is going to need to have a wonderful time? Are the toys updated? Do they have a lot of course offerings? Does the facility look new and fun and vibrant, right? Is it a place where you feel like your child is going to thrive? Or is it a place that feels a little dingy and outdated? And those things matter because that just goes to show the overall care that that facility is putting into their summer camp. So research that camp. If there are reviews online, look for those reviews. See what other people are saying about that camp, other individuals who have had experiences there. Next, like I said, visit that camp, meet the staff, meet the volunteers if that's possible. If it's not before you make the decision for camp, there are always usually going to be some type of a parental day or way that you can go to the campus or the camp while your child is there. And that way you can kind of get an eye in on the volunteers too. This is the time you want to ask a lot of questions. You want to ask about training. What kind of training do the staff and the volunteers get? How much training? How in depth? What are the background checks that they do on their volunteers? Or do they use a lot of youth volunteers? A lot of summer camps will bring young people back from college who have either gone through the program themselves or who are looking for those really necessary hours that they need for their college degrees. Not that it's a problem that youth are going to be interacting with your children, but you want that youth, those youth workers, to be held to the exact same standard as any other employee of that camp. So they should have child background checks. They should have criminal background checks. They should be required to receive training. They should know and receive training on the signs to look for with sexual abuse. They should have mandatory reporting training. They should know who to report to, when to report to. They should also receive things like Red Cross and CPR, that type of training, so that they can, in a whole, respond to any of the needs that your child has. Ask that camp how they deal with ratios. Do they use the best practice, which is two staff person per child? That's important because at camp, your child is going to be engaging a lot of different activities. They're going to be going on field trips. They're going to probably be doing water activities, which means they're going to have to change. This might be for your child, especially if you have a younger child, the first time that they've ever had to change in and out of bathing suits at a facility. You need to know that that facility has two people with that kid at all times, that there is never one volunteer or one staff person taking your child to the bathroom for a bathroom break or to a changing area to change. There should always be two. That's just a good safety protective rule. Ask all those questions. Don't feel bad if you are interviewing them because that really is what you're doing. You want to make sure that the camp that you're going to adheres to all of the best safety protocols and precautions that they can. Check out for accreditations and certifications. A lot of summer camps have certifications. They have accreditation standards. Go on to their website, see if they are accredited. Go on to the American Camp Association's website, see if they are affiliated or connected with that entity. See if they have any form of certification or accreditation. If they're a part of a larger entity like a YWCA or a YMCA, then make sure that those entities are also accredited. Ask them what their standards are. What are their policies? Ask to see those policies. What happens when something is reported at their camp? Who does it get reported to? How is it dealt with? Who does the investigating? Do they have child line involved? Do they have local law enforcement involved? You're going to want to know those things just in case, God forbid, something does happen while your child is there or a friend's child is there. You're going to know then those policies and procedures that camp utilizes, so you can walk yourself and your child through that. Big tip is to teach your child about personal boundaries, right? We can't expect the camps to do everything. Our children also have to have autonomy. They need to know about their bodies. They need to know proper terminology for their body parts, right? We need to be talking with children about their penises, about their breasts, about their buttholes, about their vaginas. And we need to use those terms because those are the clinical terms that any child is going to be asked for if they have to have an evaluation or an examination or when speaking with law enforcement. You don't want to sugarcoat terms. You don't want to give cute nicknames for terms. Otherwise, that could be really confusing for the child, and a perpetrator can weaponize that against the child to confuse them into thinking that it's okay for them to touch them. Talk with your child, educate them, let them know that it is necessary and okay to say no. Let them know who should be touching them and when. Let them know who should be able to see them when they're changing and who shouldn't. Let them know to ask. If there's only one volunteer or one staff person available, demand that another person is there. Your child can self-advocate, and that's really one of the best tools that you can give them during any experience they have as they're growing up. Encourage open communication, not just with you and your child, but with the facility. Check in, ask how your child's doing. Encourage daily reports. Drop in at the site and see if you're allowed to kind of just make visits or maybe have lunch with your child. That way you get a better idea of the interaction that your child is having with the camp counselors, with the staff, with volunteers. It's okay for you to go and kind of shadow a day of their camp. If they want you to send their child there, they should allow you to do that. It just gives you a good sense of how they're running their camp and how your child is behaving and interacting in that camp. Check in with your child every day when you pick them up. And I know sometimes it's hard with kids when you say, how was your day? And they'll just say, fine. So you ask creative questions. Ask things like, what was the hardest thing you did today? Or what was the best conversation you had today? Or who made you laugh today? Who made you feel sad today? Was somebody bullying another student? Did you witness something that you needed to stand up for yourself for or your friend for? Those are the kind of questions that are going to elicit a little bit more information and get your child thinking differently about their day. Trust your instincts. As a parent, as a caregiver, you know your child better than anyone. If you start seeing deviations in their behavior, if you start seeing differences when your child is coming home, if they are reverting back to old behaviors such as thumb sucking, bedwetting, fear, if they have fear about going to camp, if all of a sudden they loved going one day and the next day they are kicking and screaming and don't want to go, all of those things are really important red flags and warning signs for you to investigate further with your child. Trust your instincts always. We know how hard it is for parents and caregivers who have to work full time. Having to entrust your child in a facility is scary, and there are so many uncertainties. If you can kind of make sure, to the best of your ability, you are checking in with your child, you are reviewing and researching that camp, you can feel a greater degree of confidence when you send your child there. Definitely stay informed too. Camps, if it's a good camp, they're going to be communicating with you as the parent or caregiver weekly. They should be. They should be telling you what they're doing with your child, what activities are coming up. They should also be sharing pictures. You should get to see what your child's engagement is. Some camps even have videos where you can tap into a live stream and actually watch the children at play, just like daycares have. Look into all of these things, and if they're offered, engage them. Finally, report any and all incidents. If your child comes home and says something to you and discloses something to you, you have a moral, ethical, and legal obligation to report that immediately. You're not only protecting your child, but you're protecting every other child that walks into that facility that could potentially be in harm's risk. And it's okay if you're not sure. It's okay if your gut is screaming something and your child is giving you a little bit of information and together those things feel a little uncomfortable. Call Childline and just talk with a Childline employee. They'll walk you through whether or not this is reportable, how to report. And at the end of the day, it is never a bad idea to just err on the side of caution and report. Talk to the staff, talk to the leadership at the camp. If you're uncomfortable and your child is uncomfortable, that facility should address those concerns immediately. Know that summer camp is going to be a fun, exciting exploration for your young person and your children. Embrace that and let your child go and be free and have a wonderful, safe, and incredible summer. If, God forbid, something happens and you have questions or you have concerns and you don't know where to turn, Andreozzi Foote are always here to answer your questions, to provide a free, confidential evaluation of your concerns and potentially a case that you may have against a summer camp. We're here to listen, we're here to educate you, and we're here to advocate for you.